Four cadets locked a quiet woman in the academy cafeteria. 45 seconds later, someone was praying. Someone was bleeding and every camera was dead. Her name's Sarah Watson, and her broken watch was all they saw, right before they learned she was a Navy SEAL. The cafeteria never looked friendly after midnight. The chairs stood like little fences. The vending machines hummed like insects under glass. A single exit sign leaked red light across the tiles. Sarah Watson stood under that red smudge and checked her watch. The face was cracked. The minute hand stuck at 11. She wore it anyway. It had been a gift. It had stopped when a wave had picked up her team and thrown them into a black wall. It had never started again, and she respected that. She had come to speak to the morning class. It was a favor to a friend. She wanted to talk about resilience and quiet work and the way hope outlives fear if you feed it. She carried a manila folder in her left hand. She carried nothing in her right. She kept both hands visible. The cafeteria doors sighed behind her. The hinges were old. She heard them even at a distance. She turned and saw four silhouettes move into the frame. Cadets. Tall. Not yet men or women in the way the sea makes you, but tall in the way eagerness grows. They stepped inside and the doors eased shut. The latch fell. No one smiled. The first one had a bandage on his knuckles. The second wore a cap even though caps weren't allowed indoors. The third had eyes that drifted from floor to ceiling, as if his thoughts were heavier than the lights. The fourth was a girl with a mouth drawn tight like a seam. "Ma'am," the bandaged one said. Polite voice, sharp under it. "Kitchen's closed." "I'm not hungry," Sarah said. "You're not supposed to be here." "I'll leave," she said, and lifted the manila folder. "I'm only looking for a power outlet. My slides are in here. I want them ready by 7, the cap laughed. The sound stayed in his throat. He stepped to her left and touched the folder. "No slides," he said. "No speech either." The girl turned the bolt. The heavy clunk spread across the tiles. The drifting-eyed one watched the clock. The second hand swept. He said nothing. Sarah looked for the cameras. One above the doors. One over the coffee station. One in the corner near the trophy case. All 3 little red dots glowed. Good. She would not be alone in here. Even if help came late, the truth would not. "Cadets," she said. "It's after hours. Go back to the barracks. If you have a complaint, file it. If you have nerves, run 5 miles and let them go." The cap moved closer. He smelled like lemon cleaner and tobacco. "We've filed things," he said. "Nothing changes," the bandaged one nodded. "We're not here to hurt you. We're here to hold you." "For how long?" Sarah asked. The drifting-eyed boy answered. 45 seconds. "That's all we need." "Then what?" she said. "Then you hand it back," the girl said. "And this ends." Her voice shook. "Please don't make this worse." Sarah placed the folder on a table. She kept her palms open. "Hand what back?" "The wallet," the cap said. Sarah blinked. She reached into her jacket and pulled it free. She held it up between them. It was brown. It was very old. It folded like a leaf in winter. She opened it. It was empty. No cash, no cards. A single photograph in a plastic window. A boy at a dusty bus stop. His shoelaces were untied. He was laughing at something off camera. "You can have it," she said. "It's not what you think." The cap looked to the bandaged one. The bandaged one frowned. "We saw you," he said. "By the admissions office. You took it from the red locker." Sarah shook her head. "No, I found this years ago. On a road far from here. I kept it because I owed someone I could not repay. An empty wallet reminds me to give anyway." The girl's mouth stayed tight. "You're lying." Sarah drew a breath. She watched them the way she watched waves, not the surface. The draw beneath. Fear. Shame. A plan that felt clever and felt desperate at the same time. "Why 45 seconds?" she asked. "So you don't scream," the drifting-eyed one said. His eyes finally met hers. "So you listen." Sarah pointed with her chin to the camera above the doors. "I'm listening," she said. "And they are too," the cap grinned. "Are they?" He flipped a switch on a small gray remote. The little red dots died. The camera over the coffee station blinked dull. The one by the trophy case went to sleep. The cafeteria hummed a little louder. The room breathed to a lower key. Sarah looked at the broken watch. It still said 11. She knew what that meant for her, not for time. She slid it up her wrist. The cracked glass scratched her skin. She counted the view lines, tables, chair legs, trays. The metal posts of the rope queue, the distance to the doors, the angle to the kitchen hallway, the bandaged one closest, the cap to her left, the girl near the bolt, the drifting-eyed boy at the coffee station, his thumb on the remote like a wish. She remembered a cove in winter when the moon did not rise. She remembered the way silence can be a hill, and you must choose whether to climb it. "You have 45 seconds, Sarah said. The cap's grin faltered. "We're the ones who set that." "You did," she said. "Use them." The bandaged one reached into his jacket. Metal gleamed. Not a gun. A baton, thin and collapsible. He held it low, like someone copying a YouTube clip. The girl pulled a cable tie from her pocket and stepped toward Sarah's wrists. Sarah stood very still. She watched their feet, the scuff on the bandaged one's left sole, the cap's heel worn down from swagger, the girl's laces neat, the drifting-eyed boy barefoot in his running shoes. Quiet. Ready. Not sure. The girl raised the tie. The cafeteria doors bucked against their frame. Hard, as if something large had hit them from the other side. All four flinched. The bolt held. The sound rolled away. In its wake, the room felt smaller. The bandaged one said, "Don't move." Sarah's hands remained open. Her eyes slid to the trophy case. Her reflection looked back, small and calm in glass. Then the reflection bent as if the room itself had tilted. Her broken watch bit into her skin. 45 seconds had started, and no one else knew it. The girl stepped forward, and Sarah took her first step too, and the lights went out. The door banged again. Not a body. Metal. A bar sliding into place from the hall. Someone was sealing them in. Silence pulled tight. The cap stopped smirking. The bandaged one rubbed his forearm and stared at the door. The girl held the cable tie like a ribbon she no longer wanted. The drifting-eyed boy pressed the dead remote and whispered, "Battery." Sarah slid the kitchen lattice 2 inches and slipped through. The grate clanged shut behind her. She wasn't running. She was buying breath. Heat gathered in the hoods. Oven slept. Stainless steel glowed faintly with the exit sign's red smear. She palmed the broken watch, teased out the loose winding stem, and felt the neat weight of it in her fingers. A small wedge. "A small promise, you don't get to hide," the cap called. He sounded like he wanted someone else to hear him. "Maybe himself. I'm not hiding," Sarah said. "I'm thinking." "Turn the cameras on," the girl said. Her voice had changed. No threat left. "Just need—" "Your friend killed them," Sarah said, "with a tool he should not have." She glanced through the lattice. The remote sat in the tray rack like a gray stone. Not a toy. A site-ops device. Facility grade. Not cadet issue. "Where'd you get it?" Sarah asked the drifting-eyed boy. He looked ashamed. "Left in my locker," he said. "No note." "Just that and a time. Whose time?" 45 seconds. Sarah found the back panel by the loading door. She slipped the stem into a shallow screw and turned. The panel loosened. She turned again. Plastic sighed. Switches twitched under her thumb. If she tripped the hood pull, sprinklers would dump, security would come, and 4 lives would change before dawn. Maybe that was already true. The cafeteria doors boomed a 3rd time. Heavier. Someone outside was testing a weld of fear. The bolt sang. The cap swore. "Who is that?" he demanded. "You tell me," Sarah said. "Who asked you to scare me?" No one answered. She clicked a switch. Emergency strips lit the kitchen with a low green wash. The lattice showed their faces in slices. The bandaged one looked suddenly young. The cap looked suddenly tired. The girl's jaw unclenched. The drifting-eyed boy's thumb left the dead remote. "We were told to get the wallet," he said. "And the keys inside it." Sarah lifted the empty wallet. She let its brown fold catch the sickly light. "Empty," she said. "Has been for a long time. It reminds me to give without keeping count." "We saw a wallet in the red locker," the cap said. "Hoffman wing. We saw you after it went missing." "You saw a silhouette," Sarah said, "and decided it was me." The bandaged one tapped the lattice with his baton. Not a threat now, a nervous tick. "If there are no keys," he said, "then someone set us up." Sarah nodded. "And sealed the door to make sure no one sees who." The loading door shuddered. A small canister rolled under the gap and bounced against a mop bucket. It hissed like a kettle. Smoke poured out low and cold. Not fire, not military. A cheap fogger, but fog makes men run. It makes cameras see nothing. Sarah pulled the lattice wide and waved them into the kitchen. "Inside," she said. Now, the Cap hesitated. He wanted to argue. The fog slid under his shoes. He swallowed and stepped in. The bandaged one followed, holding his baton like a limp umbrella. The girl came last, clutching a cable tie as if it could still fix something. Sarah slammed the lattice and jammed the winding stem between bar and track. It stuck perfectly, a little steel tooth in a big kitchen mouth. The smoke thickened. The cafeteria vanished. The hiss made its own clock. "Listen," Sarah said. "Who told you 45 seconds? Who chose the number?" The drifting-eyed boy looked at the floor. "An email from a throwaway," he said. "Subject line only. 45 seconds. Attachment was the remote instructions. Who else knew you'd be here?" Sarah said, "Only us," the girl said. "And the man who said he could help us fix a grading mistake. He said the keys would prove it. He said the academy protects itself and no one listens. He said you were part of that." "What man?" Sarah said. The girl blinked. "He didn't give a name. He said meet him after. He said the dusty road behind the cafeteria at 1. Sarah filed it. Dust remembers. Feet tell the truth. The green lights flickered. The hood relay hummed. Sarah pressed 2 toggles and heard a relay click in the wall. Far away, a camera might have sneezed awake. Or not. She couldn't bet on it. The Cap coughed. "We're going to get caught," he said. "Not if we move," Sarah said. "And we move now." She pointed to the loading door. A simple bar latch, a chain at night, a sensor at the top with 2 screws she had already loosened. She handed the empty wallet to the girl. "Put this in your pocket," she said. "If someone finds you, tell the truth about it. The whole truth. Do not hide it. Hiding is the easiest proof of guilt." The girl stared at the old leather. She slipped it into her jacket as if it burned. Sarah braced a sheet pan between the loading door and a milk crate. She climbed quick and high, fingers light on pipe, and ducked. The broken watch scraped steel. She wedged the stem again, turned, and popped the sensor plate. The chain sagged. The door bucked to a push from outside. The chain rattled and dropped. "Move," Sarah said. The loading door swung into black air. Night poured in. So did footsteps. Not cadet light, boot heavy. A shadow filled the gap. "Hand over the wallet," a voice said. Calm, dry, professional. And then the cold fog blew forward. The green strips died and the voice stepped through, wearing a badge Sarah had hoped she wouldn't see. Security should be a comfort. This badge wasn't. The man behind it had the posture of someone who enjoys closed rooms. His flashlight cut white tunnels through the fog. He didn't cough. He didn't blink. "Hands," he said. "All of you." The Cap raised his palms. The bandaged one dropped the baton as if it were suddenly illegal. The girl lifted her chin and swallowed hard. The drifting-eyed boy hid the remote behind a tray. Too late. "The beam found it. Interesting," the guard said. "Where'd you steal that?" "Nobody stole it," Sarah said. "It was planted. Names later," he said. "Wallet first." He knew about the wallet. Too much. He'd come straight to the right noun. Sarah let the fact sit in her chest. Heat found it and turned it into a small lamp. "I took it," Sarah said. "On me." She stepped off the crate, stayed between him and the cadets, and showed her empty hands. "Then give," he said. The girl's breath popped fast. Sarah felt it behind her shoulder like a bird. She didn't look back. She kept her eyes on the man and imagined the service lot beyond him. A narrow strip of gravel, a maintenance shed, a short dusty road running down to the loading gate. She had landed in dust like that in another life, on a runway no one would admit existed. Dust gets in your teeth. It gets in your memory. It keeps footprints as if they are stories. The guard took one careful step in. "Last ask. You're not logging this," Sarah said. "You're shopping." The light paused on her face. It moved to the dead cameras. Back to her. He smiled with half his mouth. The wrong half. "You've got an imagination, Ms. Watson." "SEALs are trained for that," she said. The smile twitched. He hadn't been briefed on what she was. The cadets had realized it. He hadn't. Good. She lowered her voice. "Fogger was a good touch," she said. "Cheap. Fast. It hides you as much as us. Keeps the record clean. Except for the dust on your boots." He glanced down, reflexive, and in the half-inch dip of his attention, Sarah moved. Not big, a shoulder turn. A palm to the flashlight, not to take it, just to blind his lens for a beat. Her other hand pressed the door outward. Air grabbed the fog and yanked it into the lot. Knight breathed. The cadets coughed free. Go, she said. Run where? The Cap asked. Dusty Road, she said. Back of the lot. You told him to meet there, right? The girl nodded. She didn't ask how Sarah knew. She ran. The boys spilled after her. Their steps tattooed the concrete and fell softer when they hit gravel. The guard swore. He wasn't trained for sprinting cadets and a woman who didn't match her file. He swung the light, gripped for a radio, and missed it by half because Sarah had stepped into his space and set a hand on his elbow again. Not attack. Disruption. She turned the elbow, moved the wrist, and his radio knocked the doorframe. He winced. Stop, he said. Stop or I charge you. You already have, Sarah said. With the wrong thing, he reached for her shoulder. She let him take it. She pivoted into the pressure and gave him the kitchen counter instead. His hip met stainless steel like a lesson. He grunted. The flashlight skated across the floor. It rolled into the fog and thudded against the milk crate. The girl shouted from outside, "This way!" Footsteps faded down the service lane. Sarah didn't stay to win. She backed through the door and let it swing. The guard pushed it open again, furious now, and stopped because the night owned his lungs. The service lot was mean and small. The maintenance shed squatted like a stubborn habit. A cigarette butt glowed and died near the trash corral. Tire marks chewed the dust. Shoe prints typed messages. The remote went into the drifting-eyed boy's pocket. The empty wallet bulged the girl's jacket like a question. Don't toss it, Sarah said. Truth is our only thread. The Cap crouched near a print. 2 sets, he said. 1 heavy, 1 light. Heavy goes to the shed, light goes to the gate. Light shows toe dig, Sarah said. Runner, young. Heavy drags a little on the right. She pointed. Old injury. See the comma in the dust? He favors the knee. The bandaged one squinted. How do you see that? You slow down, she said. Even when someone yells to hurry. A moth fluttered through the beam of the shed's motion light. The bulb buzzed and stayed dim. The door looked locked. It wasn't. The key dangled inside on a hook. Lazy mistake or invitation? The drifting-eyed boy touched his pocket. He said to meet at 1, he said. It's 12:48. Sarah checked the broken watch. 11 as always. She smiled at the lie and felt its edge. We'll borrow the shed's clock, she said. They went in together. The air tasted like oil and iron filings. A radio sat on a pegboard, turned off. A fuse panel hummed behind a gray lid. Shelves wore labels in a neat hand. Tape, lube, gloves. On the floor, dust. In the dust, a rectangle, clean spot the size of a lunchbox. Something lived there, the girl said. Something left. Or was moved, Sarah said. Right before our fog, from the doorway, the Cap hissed. Lights. Outside, pairs of headlights turned into the lane. A van rolled to a slow stop. Its side door slid. A second badge stepped down, and a third. All 3 looked at the shed. Hands, a new voice said, and bring out the wallet. 3 badges in a place that usually saw one. Too much authority for a simple disturbance. The van idled, white breath pooling in its grill. The dusty road looked like a chalk mark drawn for them to stand on. Out, the lead said. Not the first guard. Someone heavier. His boots made parentheses in the gravel. A brace on his right knee, the comma Sarah had seen in the dust. She walked out first. No sudden moves. She kept her shoulders loose. Head tilted in a way that let her see faces without meeting eyes. The cadets came after. The girl kept a hand in her pocket over the empty wallet as if to keep it from jumping to its own conclusion. Name, the lead said. Sarah Watson, she said. Guest speaker. Topic resilience. We prefer obedience, he said. Wallet, Sarah nodded at the girl. Give it to me. The girl's fingers trembled. She passed the old leather like a relic. Sarah held it up and opened it to show its clean ribs. Empty, she said. A reminder. The lead's eyebrow moved a millimeter. Where are the keys? In the story someone fed these kids, Sarah said. Not in here, he stepped close. Close enough for her to smell wintergreen gum and old rage. Are you accusing my staff? I'm describing dust, she said. And this. She towed the clean rectangle in the shed. Something sat there until right before your fog. Our fog, he said. You arrived too fast, she said. You asked for the wallet before you asked for IDs. Your man had a site ops remote. Your knee writes commas in the gravel. The Cap made a small sound. Pride, shock, fear. The lead turned to him. Name, he said. The cadet gave it. He gave all their names. He had spent his swagger on a tray pole. Now he spent it on honesty. The lead smiled a proper smile for the first time. It did not reach his eyes. There was a theft tonight, he said. Examination keys. We've traced suspicious movement to this area. A foreign consultant was seen near Hoffman Wing earlier. Foreign. Consultant. Words that could make a picture from smoke. I was near admissions, Sarah said. Locked doors, locked minds. I go where I'm sent. I go where I'm needed. You went to a locker, he said. I went to a hallway, she said. Someone else went to the locker and made a mess. Someone else staged a wallet and a fog. Someone else handed a child a tool that kills cameras. The drifting-eyed boy swallowed. He took the remote out without being asked. I didn't know what it was, he said. I just wanted the truth. Truth? The lead said. He held out a palm. The boy placed the remote there as if paying a toll. Sarah tapped the device with a fingertip.